Despite pandemic worries, Toronto's public school board says 86% of families have opted to send their kids to school in person this September. And we are getting a better sense of what that return to class is going to look like, with public health rules from the board going beyond provincial guidelines and looking pretty similar as last year.
Definitely back to school, like in person for this guy, for sure.
It's really important, especially for the 9-year-old, I think, to be attending class in person. Virtual school last year was really challenging for him.
Our goal for this coming school year is no school interruptions. We certainly do want to see children in-person learning. We know that there are many, many benefits beyond public health benefits for having children learning in school.
We are still confirming other pieces ahead of the school year, but so far we can tell people that masks will be required for all students JK to 12, not just 1 to 12, as indicated by the ministry. With regard to lunch, I can tell you that elementary students will continue to eat lunch in their classrooms. As far as recess, they'll be continuing to take breaks and be outside with cohorts while physical distancing. Those are a few of the tweaks that we've made from the ministry guidelines and that may be a bit different this year in September.
Can you talk a little bit about why you guys are going in a slightly different direction there?
While the ministry is providing direction for the entire province, we've been working with Toronto Public Health, who recommended some additional precautions just based on the fact that Toronto is one of the centers for COVID-19.
I'm happy that they're going to keep the guidelines higher. I think that that's safe. Our school is actually really lucky because we just replaced the ventilation system just like in 2019.
The board has already done work on school ventilation systems, including getting thousands of HEPA filters into classrooms. Meanwhile, the push continues to get students vaccinated. At least 78% of Toronto youth aged 12 to 17 have gotten one shot, with 64% fully immunized. Public Health has set up youth-focused vaccine clinics, including in some schools. Yesterday, the Ontario government said it's implementing a vaccine policy for school staff, but full details have yet to be announced. The TDSB was looking at putting its own policy in place, but is now holding off. Toronto Public Health adds the policy should include students to help with contact tracing and outbreaks. Education unions have expressed support for a vaccine policy.
People are at different levels and different needs. So I believe there needs to be a plan where teachers who cannot be vaccinated for medical, as well as for reasons of conscience or religion, could then have the option to be tested and regularly tested.
The TDSB says there are plans in the works for more COVID testing this year, led by sick kids. The board is also still working on health guidelines for some school situations, including musical instruments and extracurriculars.